Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we have war number 3 of the season 30, and we are up against a Latin American group of players, literally called Latin American players. So, yeah, going into this war we have won one and lost one this season, so naturally having lost the last war and to be fair, as an alliance getting pretty battered in that one, we're looking to bounce back, of course, looking to make things right and really up our performances. And obviously from a personal point of view, I have not been happy with mine in the first two, giving up two, in my opinion, silly deaths. Been over them in the previous war, so I won't dally on them, but they happened. And so going into this war, I just had to get my head straight going into the first few fights. So I've got 5 fights this war actually. I've got 3 in tier 1 and I have 2 pretty tricky mini bosses, so it is always great actually to see that, you know, your officers keep the faith in you, and getting a tricky matchup after the shakiness of the last couple of wars. It's nice backing to have. And, you know, like I say, in both those wars as well, they were the first fights of the war, so I recovered well, I'd say, in those. And yeah, going into this one, I literally entered my tier 1 fights and said to myself, like, right, laser focus on these first 3 fights. Don't start thinking about the mini bosses that are coming later. They're tricky fights. You've planned before the war, you've talked with the officers. Now put those plans to the side and just focus on these first 3, yeah? Get them done. So I have the clips coming up in a moment. There is a Corvus, a Sim Supreme, both on 2A, and then the shared Cat Marvel movie, all on the strike. All of them have strike counter nodes. So this Corvus you're going to see in a moment is actually one I have fought on every node of this particular stretch, this path off 2A. So on each of the 3 potential placements there. And with Doom, he's just not tricky at all. You can take some hits into the block, even if he builds a couple of Furies or so from the node. But the main thing is just play the node to be safe. And yeah, you'll see though the nerves of going into that first one. Not too much nerves actually. I calmed myself down before the fight, but it was really, really cautious. And I think that's probably the slowest Corvus fight I've had on this path. So I will play the clip and speak about it as it plays. Right, so now for this Corvus fight, there's not a lot to say about the actual strategy. There's strike counter Fury, so obviously you have a limited number of mediums, lights and heavies. You've got to play around to make sure you're not giving them loads of Furies. That will build up. As soon as you use up one of your hit counts, obviously it builds up on a timer, and then that can only be stopped by throwing a special. And then of course they keep those Furies, so that's just in case you weren't too sure of how the node works, though most people will be. There's also power struggle, so you'll only gain power when they do, and you'll lose your power when they drop theirs. So the important thing is to actually, when you knock them over a bar of power, just either really turtle up like I did there, or be able to throw yours on the end of your combo. My power just didn't really appear when I expected it to, so I didn't get to throw it on the end of my combo as I originally planned, but it's fine, I turtled up and got it off. The main reason for that being is obviously if he threw a special one, I'd lose my power, and then I've got to give him Furies because I'm not going to have enough hits to get back up to a special one. But yeah, otherwise it's just an easy fight for Doom. It's just like I said in the build-up to this, that it's the first fight of the war, and having died to my first fight in the last 2 wars, it's in the back of my mind. Despite, you know, as hard as you try to get rid of it, it's going to be there. And so I'm just conscious of really just being careful. Doom can afford to take the hits to the block as well, so, you know, I'm not too worried about having to reparry. Special 2 as well there, just get your distance as well. Do not want to be eating one of those and panicking. But yeah, it's a straightforward fight for Doom, and we keep it under control and close it out. And yeah, not really much else to say about it. Just usually I would probably come out of this with 90 plus health, so took a few extra block hits than I would want and probably wouldn't in future. It's just, like I say, playing it as super careful as possible. And yeah, getting that solo. So fight number 2 coming up here is a Sim Supreme. Now, looking at this at first, I thought, when I was first assigned, I thought, maybe it's just a diversity placement. There's nothing too tricky about it, other than the fact that he's also got the high ground global. But then I thought, actually, power focus 1, so he's going to shoot up to a special 1, as all champs would on this node. But then his passive power gain isn't going to be gimped by then, the reduced power gain above a bar. So that can lead to him getting more special 2s, maybe even shooting to a special 3 if you're not careful. And, so it's just one of those things to watch out for. And as you'll see later in this fight, it can do a fair bit of damage through your block, because, if he stacks some high ground charges and then, gets that special 2, and you don't really want to dex it because you're going to feed MD if he's got staggers on you. Of course, if you don't have any staggers on you, then you can dex the special 2 freely, if you're comfortable doing so, of course. But yeah, that's about it. It's still not a tricky placement, it's just one you've got to be careful of. And I know at the moment it looks like it's going down super clean, and you're probably wondering, like, what the hell was the worry? Well, you'll see. You'll see. Essentially as well, I'm trying to throw my special 1s quite quickly as well. I do not want to get to 2 bars of power by mistake, because obviously if I throw a special anticipating it being a special 1 and I accidentally trickle to a special 2, that incinerate is going to feed the high ground global and just lead to more damage being taken. And this is what I mentioned here. Look at that. There's 2 hits there on the block, not great, and some of the hits before, and he's obviously got 3 high ground charges there. So yeah, one thing I didn't think of as well is earlier when I was being so careful about trying not to get to the special 2 by mistake, is I could just have slowed down and then we go to the special 3 is one option. But yeah, I think the special 1 spam is still the safer route, because you saw there were some random spikes in his power with his passive power gain. So I think special 1 spam is the safer route, and just being really cautious of your own power getting towards 2 bars, because you don't want those incinerates. But yeah, it's alright. It costs us 1 of these health potions, which we are getting given free as compensation every week. And yeah, I don't like high ground really. It's a potion eater, and we saw that there. Didn't really do anything too wrong in that fight against Sim Supreme, but with the way it lined up, he got his special 2, he managed to get 3 stacks of high ground, and yeah, my block didn't enjoy it. So here, Cat Marvel movie also has high ground, so you've just got to be careful when managing that. But other than that, that's it. That's, she's just going to melt to doom, so there's no worry. And that was that. Very nice and quick fight. So this is now fight 4. They're coming quick and fast now. Yeah, it's a Rage mini boss. We've got some Mr. Fantastic pre-fights on it, thanks to DLL for that. He had them spare, so that's brilliant. And of course I've used Torch's pre-fight because, again, like I mentioned with Doom, incinerates you don't want to be putting on the opponent, as it will speed up high ground. So we need the flame on here for this fight. And it just helps getting down quicker anyway, to be honest, with, Rage slowing your damage naturally. You want those, damage over time help. Yeah, so this one as well, the main thing is just try and get the medium combos most of the time. Watching his armor, obviously, when he gets towards 3 armor, you want to be very slow, because you don't want to get auto blocked when you push him to the 4th. I think he might even be able to auto block on 3 armor, so usually 3 is the point where I just back off a bit or try and just heavy only. But you can't just parry heavy on this. You need to keep those mediums and maybe even go for more free combos. Again, watching the armors, because you want to manage his high ground, and as you can see, he's already at 2, and I haven't exactly been playing this very slow. I'm playing careful to make sure I'm getting my reparries, but it's not the easiest to manage. He is melting though, thanks to Torch's flame on and Nova Flame's just taking him down. And there I eat a special 1.
I don't feel so good.
You're all right.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir. Please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Now, this fight was going so smooth, and then that's just unnecessary. I've got the shock on me. I've just got to keep calm here. We've got 3 high ground as well, so we're taking some block damage. I have the special 3 banked.
Oh, I'm starting to want you to make me.
Yeah. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
And I was about to throw it there, but of course he throws a special 1. And I go then to try and block, having been trying to press my special 3 and eat another couple of beams. So that one ended very sketchy. Thankfully we did get the solo, but yeah, I don't know what happened there. Usually I can handle Iron Man Infinity War special 1s with my eyes closed. Literally I can listen to the sounds and dex it, is what I was joking with alliance mates afterwards. But yeah, that, you know, it happens sometimes. You don't want it to be a regular occurrence, of course. That's why you do your duels. I practiced it, practice the special 1 dexes in particular, knowing that don't want to eat the shocks, even with an invulnerability boost. But yeah, we got the solo, and we have another tricky fight coming up next. Okay, so 5th and final fight of the war. Can we go deathless? Pretty awful from my point of view that it's the 3rd war of the season and this could be the 1st deathless one. But hey, stop dwelling on the past and I've got to move on. So as you can see, I forgot to mention in the last fight, but you know, this is usually the standard procedure for a Rage Mini. I always put just a big health boost, or well, usually a mid-level health boost, but today I put a big one just because of this particular fight as well. And an invulnerability boost. So now I've chucked on a 15% attack boost, mid-level one, and a 30% boost. So yeah, I've also got the WAGs pre-fight placed for me for another 15% attack. And here we go. So last war was the first time I ever used a 30% boost in war, like ever. And this is now 2nd war in a row I'm using one, but it's just because this was my first time last war was my first time taking Nova here on this node, and it's one where the CMM method is pretty much to burst him down, so you want to be boosting big. And yeah, it was a solo last war, as you know, some of you will probably remember. If you haven't seen it, go check it out, because it was sketchy to say the least, and a nice fight to watch. But obviously, because it wasn't as clean as I would like, I opted for 30% again this war, and probably would most times I'm taking this because it is one that can go south. But this one is going so smooth. And when I threw this special 3, I took a deep breath and I was like, you know, just cool head, man, cool head. Look at this, he's already down to 20%. You're doing amazing. Like, you know, just gave myself a mini pep talk, like, we're going to go back into binary now as well, just about, and he's now in poison phase as well, so we can just go straight in. We've got the indestructible on as well, to be fair, so it wouldn't have mattered if he was in the incinerate phase, but we're doing everything right here. I've talked through the strategy in the last war, so I won't go too much into specifics, but then we eat a special 1. That's not the worst bit. And like you see, we had the special 2 bank, so we recover, but now I've taken some hits on the block, and I panic, because I'm not watching his Nova charges, or whatever they're called, and he had 75, so I got parried. Thank goodness I have max limber, because that is exactly where it comes in handy. And I told myself, I was like, knowing I've got max limber, I was like, dex that special 1 as if you're not stunned. And it worked, because fortunately the stun was shrugged right as he threw his special 1, and my dex worked. So I'm glad I didn't just, you know, resign myself to, damn, I'm about to eat another special 1, and start panicking as my health's going down. But hey, we still come out of that with, 49% health, and that is pretty solid for what is a tough fight. You know, it's a tough matchup. and only my second ever time taking it, having just taken it for the first time last war. I will absolutely take that, you know. And yeah, like I say, right up until the end there, we had him on below 20% health, and I was, what, in the 80s or something. It was going very, very smoothly. So very proud of that one, very proud of this war from not just myself, but we'll now see the Alliance stats. Yeah, so starting with our battle group, super proud of us in BG3. After 2 rough wars where we died 6 times in each and really weren't happy, only 1 death. So yeah, unfortunate to the guy who got it, but yeah, very, very solid war and we're proud of. Unfortunately, again, over 10 deaths, 12 deaths as an alliance. We need to keep improving. And yeah, just really work on turning this around and pushing for that sub 5 level that you know we know we can achieve and want to achieve as an alliance for the remainder of the season. We are obviously now 1 win, 2 losses, so we have to be careful in terms of our war rating. I hope we remain in tier 1 after this loss. I think we should, but it might be tight. But yeah, we've just got to get a win streak going, really, because we want to be in tier 1 all season to really boost our chances of securing masters. And honestly, as soon as you drop into tier 2, it becomes a real uphill battle trying to secure masters. So yeah, hopefully we all pull together and yeah, take the lessons learned from these first 3 wars to get that win streak rolling, like I say, and confidence builds from there, isn't it? So full faith in the alliance that will do that, and yeah, focusing on the rest of the season from here on out. That will be all for this one. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this war. I know I certainly enjoyed not dying for this war, so that was good. And yeah, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.